This conversation is powered by Google Illuminate. Check out illuminate.google.com for more. Today's discussion delves into the intricate world of securities eligibility and servicing, focusing on the depository trust companies, DTC, operational arrangements. It's a complex topic, but crucial for anyone involved in the financial industry.
Absolutely. The DTC plays a vital role in the smooth functioning of the securities market, and understanding their operational arrangements is key to ensuring compliance and efficient processing.
Let's start with the basics. What are the core eligibility requirements for securities to even be considered for DTC services?
Primarily, securities must be registered with the SEC or fall under an acceptable exemption without transfer restrictions. This ensures they meet regulatory standards and can be freely traded.
And what about securities already issued and outstanding? How does the process differ for them?
For older issues, a participant needs to submit an eligibility request, including the completed older eligibility questionnaire, a physical certificate, and an agent attestation form. The process is similar but requires additional documentation to verify the security's current status.
The document outlines several standards. Can you elaborate on the role of the participants in the eligibility process?
Participants, which are DTC members, are the gatekeepers. They submit eligibility requests on behalf of issuers, ensuring all necessary data and documentation are provided. This includes using systems like UW-Source or UWC for efficient submission.
The document mentions various types of documentation. What are some of the most crucial ones?
Letters of representations, LORs, particularly the Blanket Issuer Letter of Representations, LOR, and Issuer Letter of Representations, LOR, are essential. These confirm the issuer's agreement to comply with the operational arrangements. Opinions of counsel are also frequently required to verify legal compliance.
And what about specific situations like book entry only, BO securities?
BO securities require a fully executed LOR, confirming that physical certificates aren't available and DTC holds the entire balance. This simplifies processing and reduces risk. Writers to the LOR are needed for Rule 144A securities, Regulation S securities, non-U.S. currency denominated securities, and securities of UK issuers.
The document also covers additional considerations. Let's discuss retail certificates of deposit, CDs.
Retail CDs have specific registration and redemption requirements. The issuer must maintain records showing DTC's nominee, Seed & Co., as the registered owner. Early redemptions are generally not permitted without specific provisions or unanimous consent from all holders. Electronic master certificates are now supported through UWC, streamlining the process.
What about unit securities? How does DTC handle those?
Unit securities, comprising multiple components, require careful handling. Immediately separable units need separate CUS IPS for each component. Units separable after the closing date require a unit CUSP and separate CUS IPS for components, with clear indication of mandatory or voluntary separation. The FAST program and TWAC function play a significant role in managing these separations.
The document also touches upon municipal securities. What's the significance of the new Issue Information Dissemination Service, NIADs?
NIADs is crucial for disseminating key data elements of municipal securities to meet MSRB requirements. While it overlaps with DTC eligibility data, they are separate processes. It's important to note that DTC acts only as a conduit for NIAD's information and doesn't validate its accuracy.
Moving on to DTC servicing, what are the key standards for CUSIP numbers, certificate format, and legends?
Each issue needs a unique CUSIP number. Certificates must adhere to ANSI standards, and the DTC legend must appear on certificates registered in Seed & Co.'s name. This legend protects DTC's interest and clarifies ownership.
Let's talk about transfer requirements. What's the importance of the FAST program?
The FAST program allows approved agents to act as custodians for DTC, streamlining balance confirmations and transfers. FRAC and DWAC functions within the FAST program further enhance efficiency and accuracy. The FAST program also supports Direct Registration System, DRS service, allowing investors to hold securities directly on the transfer agent's books.
What are the key aspects of transfer agent compliance?
Transfer agents must comply with SEC turnaround rules and Rule 17A16, providing timely notices to DTC regarding changes in services or contact information. The issuer agent portal and lens system are crucial for this communication. Trustees also have specific notification requirements.
The document details record date requirements, notices, and payment instructions. What are the key considerations for record dates?
Record dates must be set to determine holders entitled to distributions or rights. The time frame varies depending on the security type, with different requirements for certificated securities and those offering currency options.
How does DTC handle notices and payment instructions?
Notices must be sent electronically and include all relevant information, including CUSIP numbers. Payments must be made in immediately available funds and meet specific deadlines for income, redemption maturity, and reorganization payments. The document details specific timeframes and procedures for each payment type.
The document also outlines additional payment arrangements. Can you highlight some of them?
Redemption payments without presentation, PWP, streamlines the process for fast and BAO issues. The compensation claims policy addresses situations where a participant fails to collect from a paying agent. Post-payable income adjustments handle misapplied or miscalculated payments, with specific time frames for credits and debits. Return of funds procedures address situations like issuer defaults or processing errors.
Let's discuss dividend and income payment notification procedures. What information is required for income payment details?
Detailed information is needed, including security description, CUSIP number, record date, payable date, dividend or interest rate, and potential tax liability. Structured securities require even more detailed information, including rate information, paydown rates, and pool factors. ADR/GDRs have their own specific notification requirements.
How does DTC handle currency payment provisions?
Payments to DTC must be in US dollars or, for Canadian Link service, in US or Canadian dollars. Payments in other currencies are handled directly between the agent and participants. The document outlines different procedures depending on whether the security offers an option for US dollar payments or not.
What are the procedures for changes in payment terms?
Notices of dividend or interest rate changes must be provided promptly. Reductions in payments due to treasury shares or repurchased securities require specific participant confirmation letters to ensure accurate adjustments.
The document also covers additional dividend procedures. What's the role of the Dividend Reinvestment Program, DRP?
The DRP facilitates dividend reinvestment plans, requiring an agreement from the agent. It outlines procedures for voluntary and automatic reinvestment, handling of fractional entitlements, socialist or additional roundup shares, and timely notification of plan changes.
Let's move on to redemption notifications. What are the key requirements for redemptions, advance refundings, and calls?
Notices must be sent electronically, specifying details like CUSIP numbers, redemption amounts, dates, and agent information. The document clarifies procedures for pro rata pass-through distributions and random lotteries, as well as notices of rescission and revision. Auction rate securities, ARS, have specific publication date requirements and procedures for releasing lottery results.
The document also addresses put notifications. What are the standards for initial notices of puts?
Initial notices must clearly identify the put provision type, dates, instructions, and contact information. The timing of the notice is crucial, with deadlines varying depending on the put type. Additional notices are required for concurrent partial redemptions.
What are some put features with special processing requirements?
Puts exercisable daily or weekly require DTCs deliver order procedures. CMOs and ABSs utilize DTC's automated put system for tender requests and payment processing. Extendable puts require confirmation of new security eligibility. Put bonds use DTC's repayment option procedures. Early CD redemptions and MMI survivor options have their own specific procedures.
Let's discuss reorganization instructions and notification procedures. What are the standards for voluntary and mandatory reorganization notices?
Notices must be sent to DTC, clearly identifying the type of corporate action and including all relevant terms and conditions. Timely notification is crucial, with different deadlines for mandatory and voluntary events. The document specifies email addresses for different types of reorganization events.
How does DTC handle fractional entitlements in reorganizations?
For mandatory events, fractional entitlements are calculated at the beneficial owner level if specified, otherwise at the participant level. For voluntary events, calculations are at the voluntary offering instruction, VOI level. Procedures for SIL, additional roundup shares, or dropping fractional shares are outlined.
The document details the processing of specific mandatory reorganizations. What are the standards for restricted to unrestricted exchanges?
For mandatory exchanges, the issuer must refer to Section IB5 for notice and documentation requirements. Maturity for stock events require timely notice, including details about the entitlement stock and any cash or interest components. Reductions in payments due to Treasury shares require participant confirmation letters. Mandatory unit separations require advance notice specifying the separation date and CE-SIP numbers. MI to non-MMI exchanges have specific requirements and restrictions.
What are the key procedures for voluntary reorganizations?
War redemptions and rollovers must use DTC's IVORS system. Rights offers utilize ASOP. Convertible issues, warrants, and rights have specific notification requirements, including timely notice of convertibility exercise, terms of conversion, and handling of fractional shares. Voluntary tenders, exchanges, and merges with elections use a top, with specific requirements for payment details and handling of changes to offer terms.
The document concludes with additional operational requirements for variable rate demand obligations, VRDOs. What are some key aspects?
VRDOs have specific procedures for partial redemption exclusions, interest payment information, optional and mandatory tender provisions, and the use of credit facilities. The document details the information required for each of these aspects and the appropriate notification procedures. Mandatory tender retention exclusion provisions are also addressed.
So, in summary, the DTC's operational arrangements provide a comprehensive framework for securities eligibility and servicing, covering a wide range of scenarios and security types. Compliance is essential for efficient market operations.
Precisely. Understanding these arrangements is crucial for issuers, agents, and participants to ensure smooth processing and avoid potential delays or penalties.
That was a great discussion. Thank you for your expertise.